Hey there, Dr. Glassmoyer here. Today we're going to be talking about an unconscious defense mechanism that often shows up in toxic relationships. This is called projection. Projection is when someone displaces their thoughts, motivations, actions onto you. And the key to this and understanding this and using it to protect yourself in a relationship is really knowing that this is unconscious for the person. So let's talk about some examples of projection. Let's say that a guy is flirting, talking on the phone with old girlfriends, maybe even engaged in a physical affair with someone. And suddenly he becomes very jealous and he starts accusing you of doing things that are ludicrous. You're not engaging in these behaviors. You know it. But usually what happens is that the first couple times that this happens in your relationship, you find yourself defending yourself because clearly he doesn't understand. So you tell him, I'm completely loyal to you. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not flirting with anybody. But those efforts on your part are futile. And this will keep coming up again and again and again. Because guess what? He's doing these things. He's thinking these things. He's motivated towards these things. And because this is unconscious, he thinks that you are. So the key here is to think about holding up a mirror so that rather than being defensive and feeling like you need to explain yourself, you simply hold up the mirror of understanding, because this guy, as he accuses you, is telling you exactly who he is and what's going on in his inner world. So as painful as this might be to be on the receiving end of, it really is something that can become very, very useful to you in terms of observing the dynamic in your relationship, better understanding what's happening, and really being able to kind of step back, feel less hurt, less misunderstood, because what he's telling you is about him. So let's say he's feeling insecure in the relationship. He might say things to you like, I wonder if you even love me anymore. You think things are good, you're committed to him, everything's fine. But in his mind, he's starting to think about this relationship and if it's meeting his needs. And if he has a pathological amount of narcissism in his personality, no one can meet these needs. So suddenly you find yourself again trying to convince him, trying to prove to him that of course you love him. The problem is that over time, the more you do this, the balance in the relationship shifts. So here's a guy who, by his very nature, is really all about himself, about going through the world, getting his needs met in any way he can. And what he's telling you about you is that you're selfish. You only think of yourself. You don't appreciate anything. And nothing could be farther from the truth. Most of the time, narcissistic men are attracted to women who have these very qualities. Pretty selfless, thinking of other people before themselves to the extent that sometimes they forget to factor themselves in the equation. So to be accused of these things when you are doing everything you can to shower this person with love and affection just is very, very confusing. It doesn't make any sense to you because it has nothing to do with you. Remember though, it's giving you a look as to who he is. He might tell you he's the most loyal guy in the face of the earth. And yet, where is his irrational jealousy coming from? Certainly not from your behaviors. So projection is a simple, unconscious defense mechanism. It really isn't a fair description to call it a tactic, because this guy has no idea that he's doing this. He thinks he knows your inner world better than you. And so if something comes up for him, if he's been lying to you, he's going to accuse you of being dishonest to him or being shady to him, you name it. So the point here is that if you are in a toxic relationship, this is going to be something that shows up over and over and over again. It can happen in healthier relationships occasionally. I mean, we all use different defense mechanisms in our life when we feel insecure, we're questioning things. But it's different in a toxic relationship because this is really woven into the very fabric of the relationship. So again, as I've said many times in my other videos, what I want you to do is to step back with some compassion for yourself and start to observe. And when you feel and hear accusations that just don't make any sense at all, hold up the mirror, because this guy is giving you the most honest information that you'll likely ever get from him in any other way. A look inside him, who he is, and what he's about. So thanks for tuning in again this week. Welcome to all the new people in our Facebook community. There are over 200 people last week that joined us. It's so good to have you. Keep your questions and comments coming, and I will continue to address them in these weekly informal videos. Make it a great day. Bye-bye.